What's good, YouTube? Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to another reaction video. We got the 2025 NFL Draft's biggest winners and losers. Let's check this out.
What are you hearing about
Draft, bro, day one was crazy. I ain't gonna lie. And the fact that Shedeur dropped out of the first round is crazy. I'm not gonna lie. Now, I did hear a lot of concerns with, what I'm saying, his ego or him being too arrogant or whatever. What I'm saying? Also, his interviews didn't go as well as, what I'm saying, everybody probably thought it would have. But that shit is still crazy. He dropped out of the first round. Now, I probably do expect the Browns to draft him because they got two, what I'm saying, second round picks within like the top 5 or so. I kind of expect them to draft Shedeur. I'm not going to lie. Now, if they don't, who knows who going to draft him, bro? Like, real spill. Because the Saints, they still need a quarterback. You know what I'm saying? We obviously saw that the Giants trade back up to get Jackson Dart, which was insane, by the way. But like I don't understand why Shedeur dropped out of the first round for real, bro. Easily the most accurate quarterback in this draft class. You know what I'm saying? I'm taking him over Jackson Dart. I don't care, bro. I don't care. I don't care.
The Tennessee Titans select Cameron Ward.
That shit is crazy.
Quarterback, Miami.
We all didn't expect this, of course, but I feel like with God, anything possible.
Amen.
The NFL draft is officially underway after months of waiting.
I know Shedeur and Dion were heated, gang.
Is officially complete, and it was just as unpredictable as we thought it would be. And as always, there are some winners and some losers from the first.
My mock draft was shot off the rip.
This is all based on speculation. I mean, for example, last year I made the same exact video and stated that the Atlanta Falcons were huge losers for reaching for.
Oh yeah, we won't talk about them.
8, just like the rest of the football world did.
Yeah.
And while it was stupid considering the contract that they had just given Kirk Cousins, Penix ended up looking up pretty damn good in his rookie season. So I'm not perfect and I can't see the future. This is all based off of how things look like right now. A player that you reach for right now could end up being a superstar in the future. So just because in
maybe
this
Jackson Dart,
time it seems like your team is a huge loser or a huge winner doesn't mean that can't change in the future. Now, before we get to the content, this video is sponsored. We've been incredible this first flight. And some teams made some pretty terrible ones, and I think the first bad pick of the draft actually came with the first pick of the draft. Yeah, I know this is incredibly bold, but hear me out. Despite having the #1 overall pick, the Tennessee Titans walked out of round 1 as losers. Everyone knew who their pick was going to be. It's been all but confirmed for months, but that doesn't mean that it's ever been a good pick. The Will Levis experiment.
I mean, I'm taking Cam Ward over Will Levis any day of the week, bro. Like, real spill. Will Levis is too inconsistent, turns the ball over way too much. I'm taking Cam Ward any day of the week,
He does need a quarterback. But
like,
the problem is, this was the wrong year for a quarterback-needy team to get the #1 pick. Last year, Tennessee would have jumped at the opportunity to draft Caleb Williams or Jaden Daniels with the top pick. But this draft class doesn't have that. Now, don't get me wrong, Cam Ward is the best quarterback in the class. But if you were taken in last year's draft, it's not insane to say that he would have been the 5th or 6th quarterback off of the board. Tennessee's need for a quarterback not only forced them to take one that isn't a special talent at all, but it also forced them to pass up on 2 absolutely generational talents in Travis Hunter and Abdul Carter, something that they said that they were not going to do. And I know you might be thinking,
but Mike, that's a smokescreen.
Well, if it was a smokescreen,
hey, but they got a chance to draft another elite edge rusher in the 2nd round. Mike Green, his stock been falling because of his whole allegation situation. So they got a chance to right that wrong, man.
Another team to move
or Donovan Azaraku, which I hope my Ravens trade up and get. Not gonna lie.
Overall pick in this year's draft, but they weren't willing to move off from it. Abdul Carter and Travis Hunter are arguably the 2 best draft prospects we've seen in years, and a quarterback who, like I said, would have been a mid to late first rounder last year at best was taken.
That Travis Hunter trade blew my mind off the rip.
I mean, Cam Ward is 22nd on my big board this year, yet he's being drafted first overall over these guys. The Titans screwed themselves. Now, I know this might be an unpopular take, but I don't care. The Tennessee Titans are huge losers for this, but at the same time, Cam Ward is a winner for this. Unless Cam Ward proves to be among the Jaden Daniels and Drake Mays of the world, the Titans have just wasted an opportunity at getting a franchise-altering player. We didn't have to wait long to find out our very first big winner, and actually, in my opinion, there are 2 winners here, because the Cleveland Browns would make a trade with the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Now, everybody was clowning Cleveland because they, they could have drafted Trav. But the thing is, bro, they trade back, they still get a top 5 pick in Mason Graham, and they get a first round pick next year. Like, who knows if the Jags are even going to be even, you know what I'm saying, compatible this year, bro. You know what I'm saying? They might still suck. So Cleveland, they might have a win-win here, bro, because let's be honest, Cleveland probably still going to be a bottom 5 team this year. They still rebuilding. They still don't have a quarterback of the future. So they taking a huge chance, you know what I'm saying, that Jacksonville might fail again like they always do.
And giving Cleveland an absolute.
But I like that Trav is gonna be in Jacksonville, bro. Because if he would have went to Cleveland, they would have failed him. I'm not gonna lie.
Seen in the NFL. So Jacksonville moving up to get him is a huge win for them, regardless of the haul. Hunter immediately steps in as the best corner in Jacksonville, and he will be a perfect fit opposite of breakout superstar Brian Thomas Jr. on the other side.
And then he got De'Ami Brown as a wide receiver 3. So
they're basically making it known that
now all they need is to draft a tight end.
Term.
And maybe like an interior defensive lineman.
The one thing
They'll be
that
straight.
The Cleveland Browns have been missing as a result of the Deshaun Watson trade has been draft picks, and they're trying to make up for that deficit. The load of picks that Cleveland got from Jacksonville secures them their future.
And they got a second-round pick from this year.
This year, a 4th-round pick, Jacksonville's first next year, and the number 5 pick this year, which ended up turning into Mason Graham. Now, with the Jacksonville Jaguars struggling last year, you have no idea what that first-round pick could be in the future. It could potentially be a very valuable pick if they repeat the same circumstances they have.
Next year's draft class is finna be insane.
But even if not, the fact that Cleveland was able to move out of this pick, select a player that fits a position of need in Mason Graham, who in my opinion is the best defensive lineman in the draft, and the guy that's one spot behind Travis Hunter on my big board, is just a huge win for them. Graham playing next to Myles Garrett makes the Cleveland line an absolute force to be reckoned with. And the fact that they got him on top of a load of picks that they got from Jacksonville, how could you not call this a win for the Browns? This trade was an absolute win-win for both teams, and that'll become very evident once the season starts.
You also see the Browns making moves like that, bro.
Situation where the player who was drafted is a winner in my book, but the team that drafted in came out as a loser.
Yeah, bro. This was hella shocking to me, bro. You know what I'm saying? Now, I understand what they're trying to do. You know what I'm saying? I heard Ben Johnson loves 12 personnel, so that's the main reason why they drafted Colston Loveland. A lot of people were like, why didn't they draft Tyler Warren? They already have Cole Kmet. You know what I'm saying? And it would make no sense to draft Tyler Warren. Both of them are like kind of similar players. You know what I'm saying? So having Colston Loveland to kind of be like their version of Brock Bowers. You know what I'm saying? He can play in the slot. He can play in the traditional tight end role. You know what I'm saying? He can play on the outside. Colston Loveland, like, it's not even a big difference between him and Tyler Warren if we keep it in a buck. The only reason that Colston Loveland's numbers weren't that good last year because of quarterback play. He had no good quarterback to throw in the ball. So I'm gonna keep it a buck. I don't know. I would kind of give the Bears a B for this because of the fact that easily Colston Loveland's a top 5, top 10 player in this draft class. You know what I'm saying? And they got him at 10. I was kind of expecting to be like a defensive player, you know what I'm saying, since Genty wasn't there or any of the, you know what I'm saying, the top 3 tackles weren't there. I expected them to go defense, but hey, this is a solid pick, I'm not going to lie.
Tight end Colston Loveland. Bear in mind, at the time of this pick, both of the top tight ends.
Now Caleb Williams got a plethora of weapons, bro.
Yes, Loveland is a top 10 player in the class, in my opinion. But you just can't pass on Tyler Warren in this situation. Loveland is basically a glorified wide receiver. Don't get me wrong, Colston Loveland.
That's what they need, though. Is the thing.
You
know how many mismatch they can make with that, and then especially if defenses come out nickel. He's going to be mauling defensive backs in the run game. You know what I'm saying? Because he's a good run blocker as well. Not as good as Tyler Warren, but he's a good run blocker, bro. So him mauling, you know what I'm saying, defensive backs, and then the matchups against linebackers, you know what I'm saying? Like this is a perfect pick for them. I'm gonna keep it a buck. It's starting to make more sense as you like think about it even more. I know at the time it came out, we was like, the fuck? Why the fuck would they draft Colston Loveland? But it kind of makes sense if you really think about it.
But Tyler Warren does everything else better. Warren would have been the perfect fit in the Chicago offense with Ben Johnson at the helm, and he can help protect Caleb Williams if need be. But instead, he took a guy who will act as their wide receiver.
That nigga got
However,
trucked,
I say
man.
This is a win for Loveland for 2 reasons. One, he's making top 10 money, and that's a
30 mil. Holy shit!
In the NFL draft.
I think Gentia, number 2 highest paid running back in the league now? I think he make like $31 21 mil.
12 personnel, meaning that Loveland doesn't have to worry about being the sole extra blocker for DeAndre Swift on run plays, and he can just focus on what he does best, run routes and catch the football. Tyler Warren should have been the pick here, and Chicago would have been much better off, but Colston Loveland made out great on day one. Ironically enough, considering how last year went, I think the Atlanta Falcons are huge winners in this year's draft.
Who the fuck allowed them to, for one, draft Jalen Walker? He stays in state at Georgia. But who the fuck allowed them to trade back up for James Pierce? Now, if you've been watching, you know what I'm saying, me on the channel for like the last couple weeks, and y'all been seeing me do my mock drafts, y'all know I'm a huge James Pierce fan. I wanted James Pierce to my Ravens badly. And when they traded up to get in front of us to take him, I was heated, not gonna lie. But if he wasn't there, I would have wanted Malachi Starks, and that's exactly who we got. You know what I'm saying? But who the fuck allowed them to do this? Like, real shit. Now they got a crazy elite edge rush duo of the future for like the next 4 or 5 years. Like, that shit is unfair, my nigga. That shit is crazy. Then they got Arnold Ebiketie. They still got Matt Judon, who can mentor both of them. That is insane. So they said, hey, we don't draft edge rushers. How about we double dip and go get two of the best ones in the draft?
Their defense. Jalen Walker can rush off the edge. He can sit in coverage. He defends the run well. He does everything you could possibly want him to do on the football field. And after years of Falcons fans begging the front office to draft someone in the front seven, they finally got their guy. And Jalen Walker is going to be a problem, hoping to be the first Atlanta Falcons sack leader since Vic Beasley almost 10 years ago. On top of that, they traded back into the first round of the NFL draft and were able to get James Pierce Jr. at number 26.
Crazy, bro.
Falcons loaded up.
Y'all know I was heated, nigga.
Fans wanted so badly.
Yo, that boy gonna be a demon.
Atlanta might have won the entire first night of the draft in terms of talent because their defense is gonna look a lot.
Like, the only reason Pierce fell in the draft is because of character concerns. Because if it wasn't for that, he would have probably been a top 15, top 10 pick. Like, if we really talking, like, his production is there.
Winner from the defensive side.
It's just his character concerns, bro.
Denver Broncos, who took stud nickel corner Jahdae Barron at pick number 20.
That Denver defense is gonna be nasty.
Fell this far. And after signing Talanoa,
I'm not gonna lie.
Andre Greenlaw, Denver's
could Jahdae Barron play on the outside? You know what I'm saying? I know he's undersized and stuff like that, but him being like 5'10" and 3/4 or whatever. But I think he could play on the outside. You know, he has tremendous ball skills. His IQ is impeccable. He's always making plays. So I think they could kind of use him how the Lions use Brian Branch, because that's his comparison. But hey, that Denver defense is about to be disgusting. You already got PS2. They signed Talanoa Hufanga. They got Dre Greenlaw. They got Nick Bonito. They got Jonathan Cooper. Jonathan Cooper, he's solid. You know what I'm saying? Drew Sanders. They got a lot of studs on that defense, boy.
Defense just keeps getting better. Barron doesn't necessarily have the length to be an elite outside corner, but boy, he is something else as a ball hawk. He was the best nickel corner in the country last year and was the best nickel in the draft. And
didn't he win the best DB award?
Denver adding a weapon this talented and versatile should have been expected, but it wasn't. They were heavily mocked to take someone on offense. Like,
yeah, that's what I had in my final mock too. Marion
Hampton. I think this was the perfect pick for them. Barron should have been gone in the early teens, but he ultimately fell to 20. And honestly,
I had him marked to the Cardinals for the longest.
As the Los Angeles Chargers and the Kansas City Chiefs, and you have to face off against Patrick Mahomes twice a year. It probably would help to have elite defensive backs. The Denver Broncos now have additional help next to Talanoa Hufanga and Patrick Surtain II.
This shit is unfair. This is cheating, bro. This is legit cheating. This is Madden 25 franchise. Like, real talk, gang. Like, bro, Broncos, they might be up next season. And I'm gonna go ahead and make a bold prediction. They win a division. I'm gonna make a bold prediction because I 100% think that the Chiefs are gonna have their first ever, you know what I'm saying, what is it? The Super Bowl, damn, I can't think of it. Like, I forgot the fucking name, but I feel like the Chiefs, they not gonna be that good next year, bro. I'm gonna keep it a buck. I think the Broncos might win that division. Like, real talk.
Be one of the best pass defenses in the NFL.
Super Bowl hangover. That's what I'm thinking. Super Bowl hangover.
Hampton is another guy who made out great. He went about where he was expected to, but man, the team fit is absolutely perfect for Hampton's playstyle. And for
I wasn't expecting this though. I was expecting him to go like Luther Burden or something like that.
Headed to the Los Angeles Chargers.
But like him and Najee might be a nice 1-2 punch. You know, Greg Roman loves, you know what I'm saying, running the football. So that's a good pickup for them. And I kind of expect them to draft maybe Mason Taylor in the second round. You know what I'm saying? Because he loved tight ends too. I'm so glad he out of Baltimore. I'm sorry. But hey, that is a nice pickup.
Some of the most dangerous rushing attacks in football over the last decade, including the record-breaking 2019 Ravens. Now, I know what you might be thinking.
That's crazy.
Mike, the Chargers just signed Najee Harris. Why would they take a running back in the first?
He's on a 1-year deal.
Najee Harris was only signed to a 1-year deal. They have zero commitment to him afterwards. Plus,
Facts.
Najee has never been anything special in the first place. Hampton is an unbelievable runner, can break any tackle, and has a fantastic vision out of the backfield. He can eat regardless of Najee Harris being next to him. The one parallel I'd like to draw in this particular instance is just take a look at Jahmyr Gibbs and David Montgomery on the Detroit Lions, and it seems like
now, this is not going to be nowhere near that, bro, because Najee is not David Montgomery at all. Like, I'm taking David Montgomery over Najee Harris any day of the week, like real talk. But Omarion Hampton definitely going to be a home run hitter for them.
Omarion Hampton is poised to break out as a 1,200 plus yard rusher. He is that good. But even if he doesn't, the Los Angeles Chargers are just taking a page out of the book of the team that was ranked 6th overall in rushing yards this past year. This past year, J.K. Dobbins had over 900 rushing yards for 4.6 yards per carry. So just imagine what Najee Harris,
and that's with him not even playing every game.
This Greg Roman offense on top of
Justin
Herbert doing what he does best and throwing the deep ball. This sets up the play action moving forward for the Los Angeles Chargers and could give them a recipe for success on offense moving forward. Now I know that this next winner might be controversial, but the New York Giants are absolute winners this year. They took, in my opinion, the best player in the draft in Abdul Carter at number 3, who I made a video.
Does this mean that Kayvon Thibodeau getting traded today or something, like, or do they just keep him in the rotation? Because he's been hella underwhelming for them, you know what I'm saying? I know he had a 10-sack season. That doesn't mean nothing. Like I said before, that doesn't mean nothing. Pressures mean more than anything, you know what I'm saying? Most of those sacks were cleanup sacks anyway, you know what I'm saying, where the quarterback just runs right into him, you know what I'm saying? So I think Kayvon Thibodeau either gets traded or they might wait until his contract is up or something like that. I don't know, but I don't see him being a Giant long term now that they got Abdul Carter.
Able to take Carter at 3 and still get who they believe is their franchise player with
Jackson Dart.
Option in Jackson.
Hey, Dart don't have to play right away, bro.
First round and selected him with the 20.
Sit behind Rush.
It's so important to do this as opposed to.
I think Dart is going to be a good quarterback. Don't get me wrong. Right now, the better prospect is Shedeur, but having Dart sit a year, you know what I'm saying, to work on his mechanics, because let's be for real, bro. He needs to work on, you know, he's got a good arm, don't get me wrong, you know what I'm saying, but his accuracy, hit or miss, you know what I'm saying, his decision making can be a little iffy at times. But with the right, you know what I'm saying, tutoring from Russ, I think he can be a good quarterback in this league.
When you select a player in the second round of the NFL draft, they're only on a 4-year contract. When you select them in the first round of the NFL draft, they're on a 4-year contract. Plus, now,
if they like draft Trey Harris or Jordan Watkins to go along with that, Giants might be doing something. Not gonna lie.
Over the draft process, and the fact that they were able to get both of their guys is insane. The Giants had a ton of connections to Dart. Former head coach Joe Judge.
But I watched Dart every year though, you know what I'm saying, as an Alabama fan, you know what I'm saying, every time we played Ole Miss, we locked that nigga. I'm gonna keep it a buck. But you know what I'm saying, the talent is there, bro. He just got to put it all together.
Going to potentially take him. Selecting him at number 3 overall would have been a huge reach, but it seems like they got their answer and they walked out of the draft as winners. So this brings us to the biggest loser of the NFL draft. Jackson Dart was the second quarterback taken, which means that Shedeur Sanders fell out of the first round completely. And honestly, one of my friends texted me saying he felt bad for Shedeur Sanders. And
nah, for real though, I like, I'm gonna be so for real. I've never felt so bad for a player in my life. Like, real talk. Shedeur, like, it's gotta be an ego thing with him, bro. Because I heard that his you know what I'm saying, his interviews didn't go as well. But like, bro, like, Shedeur is such a good quarterback, you know what I'm saying? he's a day one starter right away. You know what I'm saying? In my opinion. But that's crazy that he didn't go first round and Dart went over him. I dead ass thought that the Steelers were gonna draft him, but when they took Derek Harmon, I was like, oh my gosh. The only way he was gonna be a first round pick is if somebody traded back up to get him, but that was never gonna happen. You know what I'm saying? Nobody was gonna take that risk. You know what I'm saying? And then waste draft picks to trade up and get Shedeur. That's just not gonna happen when there was clearly better players on the board at that time. But hey, whoever drafts him is gonna get a good quarterback. Not gonna lie, bro. Whether it be the Browns, Saints, shit. Who else need a quarterback? I could definitely see probably the Raiders drafting him for the future. I don't know.
If it wasn't Shedeur Sanders, we're talking about the man that consistently flexed his.
Because I think the Steelers might draft Milroe, if I'm being honest. They like Milroe way better, and Milroe does have a higher ceiling with his attributes and stuff like that.
Went viral after talking trash about one of his former players, and when a fan was tweeting at him, he quote tweeted it and said that his son will be a top 5 pick. Where's yours?
Damn. This shit did not age well at all. Oh my gosh. That's why you don't talk shit, bro. Like, now Dion, he can talk shit and back it up, but this is one of the rare times that he talked shit and it did not back up. That nigga wasn't even a first round pick. Crazy.
I got time today. And the craziest part about this is Coach Prime got community noted saying Shedeur Sanders was not a top 5.
Yo!
And I'm just curious to know what the hell happened here, because I've made videos on Shedeur Sanders before. I do believe in his arm talent. There were some rumblings about him just having a terrible interview process. So was he just that bad in interviews to the point where he fell all the way out of?
And that's what people don't understand, bro. Teams view character higher than talent. You know what I'm saying? If you're not coachable and if you don't have a high character, you're not going to be drafted. Let's keep it a buck. That's exactly why James Pierce dropped in the draft. You know what I'm saying? Walter Nolan, he dropped a little bit. You know what I'm saying? But that's why Mike Green dropped out of the first round, because of his allegations. Character outweighs talent. You know what I'm saying? If you don't have character, I would rather draft a person that has high character over a person that has, you know what I'm saying, elite talent but shitty character.
A year ago, fans were speculating that Shedeur Sanders was going to be the #1 overall pick. And then a few months ago, Shedeur Sanders was mocked as a top 2 to 3 pick. Then he became a top 10 pick. But none of that happened. He watched his teammate and best friend get drafted 2nd overall. Jackson Dart was taken ahead of him. Multiple quarterback needy teams, from the New Orleans Saints to the Pittsburgh Steelers.
I had him mocked to the Saints, bro.
Their roster passed on him for better overall talent, and he was stuck watching the draft as a nervous bystander with his Hall of Fame father. This was by far the craziest thing to happen on night 1, and it's very reminiscent of what happened to a guy I mentioned earlier.
No. Will Levis, if he would have went in the first round, bro, we would have had to crucify somebody. Real shit. At least Shedeur was worth a first round pick. You know what I'm saying? Unlike what Will Levis was about to go in the first round, but ended up going in the second round. This definitely reminds me of the Aaron Rodgers situation where, you know, he dropped in the draft, but he still ended up being a first round pick. But this is kind of reminding me of that. And I think whoever drafts him, Shedeur gonna turn out to be a really, really good quarterback. Not saying he's gonna be a future Hall of Famer like Aaron Rodgers, you know what I'm saying? But I think he's gonna be a really, really good starter for like the next 5+ years, bro. Real talk. So we're just gonna have to wait and see. You know what I'm saying? Draft later tonight. This draft is in what? About 2 hours. By the time we recording this, is 4:42. You know what I'm saying?
Knows something about Shedeur that we don't. In my opinion, Shedeur Sanders is a better quarterback prospect than Dart, and is honestly the most pro-ready quarterback in the class. But apparently, NFL GMs don't agree, which is why I'm making YouTube videos.
They agree. It's just his character, bro. Like I said before.
I'm I'm curious.
You know what I'm saying?
Shedeur
Character
goes on
outweighs
IQ.
talent.
I truly do think that Cleveland might take a flyer on him early on, because Cleveland was mocked to select Shedeur Sanders at number 2 for a very long time. So I don't see them passing up on him with their next pick. However, the fact that he doesn't even have a team right now makes him by far the biggest loser from day one of the draft. And he may become a loser as a pro with how general managers are viewing him. But at the same time, it's important to remember that there have been moments in NFL history where players that were viewed as top-end talent ended up slipping to the end of the first round of the NFL draft. Most famously, Aaron Rodgers and Lamar Jackson. So is Shedeur Sanders going to be a case of Aaron Rodgers or Lamar Jackson, or is he going to be a case of Geno Smith and Will Levis? I mean,
Don't shit on Geno, bro. Hey, Geno, he been having a solid career. It did start off, you know what I'm saying, a little iffy, but that's what happened when you get drafted by the Jets. Like, come on now. So if he can even have a career even close to Geno, that's gonna be a solid career. Let's not act like Geno is totally ass. He just turns the ball over too much. I'm not gonna lie, he throw too many picks, but when he's locked in a zone, bro, he's a good quarterback. Easily like top 15.
Losers, we have videos on Travis Hunter and Abdul Carter on your end screen. I'll meet you guys there. I'm your boy Mike, and I'm dropping our mic until our next upload.
Hey man, I want to know who y'all think is the biggest winner or loser from this draft. I'm gonna keep it a buck. It might be a little bit of bias. I think my Ravens were the biggest winners, bro. Cause like it's crazy how every single year we have some superstar player just fall into our laps. Every year. A few years ago, Kyle Hamilton. You know what I'm saying? Zay Flowers after that. Nate Wiggins last year. Now Malachi Starks. When is the league gonna learn, bro? Like real talk, cause I thought Starks was gonna be gone way before I picked. I thought the you know what I'm saying, the Bengals were gonna take him at one point. I thought the Dolphins were gonna be in contention for him. I thought the Vikings were gonna take him before us, but they ended up drafting Donovan Jackson. So Malachi Starks fell right into our laps, bro, and that is the worst thing that could have happened to this league, bro. Y'all are not ready. Kyle Hamilton, Malachi Starks, or Darius Washington, Marlon Humphrey, and Nate Wiggins. And if we get another corner for the future, maybe like Benjamin Morrison or Savone Revel, Trey Amos, somebody like that, even Darian Porter. Oh, bro, it's up. It's up. Now, another biggest winner for me, I don't know how the NFL let this shit happen, but Jahad Campbell to the Eagles, bro. I have no idea how the NFL let that happen. Now, I did hear that, you know what I'm saying, he did have like shoulder surgery or something like that, and he might have to have shoulder surgery again on his other shoulder. But I don't think that's gonna be like before the season. So I think it's like after the NFL season. But I feel like that's the only reason why he dropped in the draft. And the fact that Philly was able to draft him with what the pick 31 pick, crazy. You know what I'm saying? Was a 5-star recruit as a edge rusher at Alabama who had to play off-ball linebacker because we had so many star-studded, you know what I'm saying, edge rushers like Will Anderson, Dallas Turner, you know what I'm saying? So we just tried to find a way to get him on the field. And it worked out beautifully, bro. Great in space. He's a great, you know what I'm saying, chaser, bro. Like his sideline to sideline speed is impeccable. Great blitzer. And he still gives you, you know what I'm saying, pass rush flexibility, bro. So they got themselves an elite prospect right there, gang. And the fact that he's going to be playing next to Zach Bond, and like the fact that he's not even going to have to play Mike linebacker, bro. He's going to be able to play Will because him diagnosing plays isn't the best right now, but him playing next to Zach Bond, he's not going to have to do that. But boy, oh boy, hey, day one was crazy. I feel like day two, we going to be seeing a lot more crazy shit happening. But I want to know what you guys think down in the comments below. Y'all let me know. I'm saying what y'all think of the draft so far. Without further ado, I'm out.
I'ma make them feel me, make them people when they show me. And if you don't know me, I'ma make sure that you know me. I hate to say it, but I really think I'm broke. But I know I'm chosen, I really know I'm chosen. I know I'm chosen. I was just lost a year ago, but now I'm focused. When good at sports, this microphone can be my trophy. Not taking drugs, I found a better way of coping.